Welcome everyone. Today we're going to talk about what I keep in my travel art journal. I'm using the word travel loosely. I consider this a to-go bag so that if I'm going to run out and go someplace where I've got to wait, I can grab this at any time. I'm going to show you everything I keep in this bag and tell you why. This is the bag that I use, 6.5 by 8, something like that. It's an old makeup bag. I decided to use this as my art journaling bag. So this is the bag that I'll be putting everything in. I always have some pages from a magazine, something that I think is interesting. Maybe I can use the background colors here or the design or think about what the patterns are that maybe I want to use. So this goes in my bag. The next thing is one of these permanent adhesives. These are, you can get these at any craft store. It's a tape runner, if you will, but it's permanent. So I usually like that. And the other one I keep is a glue stick. It doesn't matter what glue stick, any glue stick will be fine. The other thing I think about are little cards or things that I might want to write on or doodle on. I have these Viva color sheets. These are watercolors and they're super pigmented. So this is an easy palette to bring with you for color, adding color onto anything. I usually stick this in because if I want a colored background, I use this. The other thing I have are these lei pens. These are flexible tips. I'm just going to show you. So the tips are flexi tips and they're kind of fun to use. I always throw these in. They're very thin. I like the colors. I just always want these. I make sure to have some highlighters. The reason for the highlighters is because it's a great way to do some writing. So you can do some letters like this, and then you can outline them in black or whatever you have for a pen. And it looks like cool writing. You can do bubble writing. You can do just block writing, but it makes adding text to your spreads easy. So highlighters of some sort. This one is called a mild liner. This is just a Sharpie one. Doesn't matter. I just pick and throw them in. I keep a Uniball Vision. This is a fine one. I love this one. I always keep this double tip Sharpie because this serves a bunch of purposes. Plus Sharpies are permanent, so it has 2 tips. It has that thicker sort of tip and then this fine tip at the end. Then I have a whiteout pen. And the reason for this is because if you want white in your journal, this is permanent. You do have to wait for it to dry, but this is a great way sometimes to add white. And my white jelly roll. I tend to like my white jelly roll, but I also like the Sakura Signo white. These are not, neither of these are permanent. So these are the last things I do in my journals, but those are going in. I always have a pencil of some sort. This is a mechanical throwaway kind of pencil. I like that. Watercolor brushes. So I have these 2 watercolor brushes. I don't keep water in them until I get to my destination unless I'm not traveling on a plane. I love Caran d'Ache Neo Color 2s because they're water soluble. So I pick some colors. These work as crayons. They work as water colors. They're very flexible in your journals. I find them very useful. So if I don't want to bring paint, I'm going to call them juicy. They work really well in our journals. You know, they look great. So these are always in my bag. I always throw a couple clips of some sort in my bag just to hold things together. I have an eraser for my pencil. I also have this fine liner that I like from Faber-Castell. It's just so I can outline, or who knows what you want to use a black pen for. This is a Lyris graphic stick, and what I like about this is water soluble. So I can use it like this, or I can add water to it and it blooms. So it's a really nice added element to my bag. I tend to take a couple tapes, a couple washi tapes, whatever, and I know that I could fit these in here. Now this is getting quite thick, as you can see, but the other thing I always have is a palette. This was a tin that I found in somebody's recycling bin, and I added some watercolor paper here so that I could use this as a palette, so that I could use those Neo Color 2s in here and mix colors if I wanted. So I always have that. So I throw that in. So this is that one bag. Now, could I use a bigger bag? Maybe, but this is how I like it. I try to not make things too heavy. This is a Jane Davenport journal. I love this because you can add and take away. It really works well for me. So I have this little pen clip here. You can find these on Amazon. I have several of these. You can stick a pen in here and it will hold your pen. So I love that. But it also works for holding things down in your journal. This is a bunch of paper towels that I had. So I just stick a bunch of paper towels so I have them handy. This is some extra cardstock kind of feeling paper. I just add a few sheets of loose paper so I have it. These are some hotel key cards that you can use to spread paint. You can even do that with watercolors. I have lens wipes because I wear glasses. I have some stickers I throw in here. This is for credit cards or business cards or something. And then I made this folder and I keep scraps of, so these are my scrap piles if you saw me make this. If not, I'll link that so that you could see them. And some scraps just in general from my desk. I have a pad of paper here. So it's a small pad of paper, something I can write on. And this is, put this behind your paper if you have, you can see through your paper a little bit so you can write straight or draw with it. So I just have this, and I throw my scrap piles in this one. This came with the Jane Davenport cover. These are stencils clearly, so I keep these in here because you never know. This is more of the same of scrap piles. I have a little tiny ruler that I keep in here. Some paper clips because you never know. This is the other side of the credit card holders. I just threw some extra elastics in there in case I need them. This is a pouch and I throw in some index cards, and on this side I have some index cards that are pre-painted and a tag just in case I want that. The book I keep in here is this mixed media paper book. This is from Dilutions. It's a combination of papers in here that I love. So this is kind of cardstock right here. This is just paper in the front, so plain paper. This is a heavier cardstock. This is a sheer like tracing paper, a little bit heavier than tracing paper, so vellum maybe. This is craft paper. So I like this because there's a lot of choice for paper, so it's a great one for travel. Then I have this zipper pouch that I pre-cut out some magazine goodies, let's call them that. So I pre-cut out some magazine goodies for if I want to do a collage, or sometimes this can challenge you, right? You put down a piece of collage and make a spread around it. So I just pre-cut out, I just randomly choose. I don't, think too much about it and throw them in. And then that's that. So I close this up. I don't always bring scissors, though I do have a pair of scissors. That depends on if I'm flying or not flying, because sometimes I just rip paper and don't worry about it. If I'm not flying, these live in my bag. If it's my everyday carry, I always have scissors in there. If you have any questions, you can leave comments below. These are the two things I carry, and this is how I travel.